Forget who went into partnership with Bill Gates to give away all their 400 billion, 500 billion dollar empire. And don't forget Finkelstein or Finkerstein or whatever the hell his name is from BlackRock, and the other one from Blackstone. These asset management companies shouldn't be involved in regime change and planning massive construction projects in other countries that the government is going to pay for, the U.S. government. This is a never-ending scam. It's 40 trillion at this point. And I don't get the feeling Donald is going to be that great on the pocketbook on the country, but he's better than the rest. Just like his casinos, if he can sell it, they can just keep the system going. The system is so bankrupt, it's unfathomable. Social Security, totally removed. I mean, why do you think there's so many African Americans on this app? During working hours, because everybody's on the tit. Everybody's on Social Security, disability, and public housing welfare. So if you want reparations, it's called communism. It's called Kamalism. And you have to vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties.
Okay, tell us how you really feel. So, yeah, so, what else is going on?
I don't know if I'm just not understanding here, but you said that, so you're saying that, I get it because I understand the status of the country, but I would say it's not just African American people who are on, all these things that you're saying. When it comes to food stamps, welfare, and it's not really just African Americans at this point. You have a whole bunch of people. So I wouldn't umbrella it to say all African Americans that are on this app those types of things. That's not true. I'm not. But at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of people that whether no matter what nationality, they're still going through these same problems. So I wouldn't just. I would probably widen it up a little bit more because right now we're in a depression period. So there's a lot of people from every nationality.
And the map would show the houses, and any of them that showed up red, it would let you know this person gave money to Trump. You could click on the house, it'd give the person's name, birthday, whatever information they had, address, obviously, how much they sent. So they made they put us on a list. People hate us, and they want people to hurt us because we want Trump to get elected instead of the liberals.
Hey, where did that information regarding Klaus come from? About him threatening and saying to, put a hit out on him and all that. Where did that come from? Damn, I'd love to see. I want to hear that. I want to see because this dude is so evil. I keep an eye on him. Anytime he says anything, I'm paying attention.
See if I can find it. There it is. The second to last link I put in, it says TPD Sean. I don't know where he got it from, but there's a 15-minute video. I guess I could stream it over. Definitely I want to play it. You can listen. Maybe he explains it better. But
Listen, all these assassins are just like Derek Klebold and the Colorado high school shooting. All of these shooters are all doped up on psychiatric medications, Adderall and Ritalin being the primary driver of a lot of this neurotic, insane behavior. And the biopharmaceutical industry, all these chemicals we put in our body mixed with all these cell phone, never-ending video programming, plus people's will to power to want to be successful. I mean, this guy, this Ukrainian Foreign Legion assassin, he thought he was being a patriot, but he's a piece of shit. So, I mean, these people are insane. They're completely brainwashed. And unfortunately, in the mainstream media, if you do listen to it, you really are highly programmed to hate Trump. It's all about hate programming. And unfortunately, Trump is the recipient of the hate. So he's got the most difficult job on his hands. And hopefully, he bunkers down until November 5th, November 6th, because this is not going to stop. There's, 20 other neurotics in the waiting looking to take him out, let alone hired assassins, possibly by our own internal bad actors as well as international bad actors. The Iranians and other people that Trump has, taken out, he's got enemies all around the world. So he is James Bond 007, and I say vote James Bond 007, Donald Trump, the Orange MAGA man, instead of Kamalism and horse seaman Tim Waltz. I mean, we can't live with these people, and they're going to be installed by Soros and Dominion voting system. So we have to communicate now in order to try to mobilize the masses. And on a November 5th, pull your cell phone out, be your own poll watcher, take your own surveys, have no fear. I mean, if the election is a scam and it's voter fraud, I'm not saying this is war or civil war, because all you can do is watch it on TV. You can't throw your apple at Congress and hope the place explodes for just being a bunch of traitors that certify a false election. So, Ribono Shalom, and good, have a great day, everybody. I'm headed to my yacht. I'm sailing away to St. John's Island with a bag of $100 million, and I'm never coming back, and I'm quitting Clown House. So, farewell, everybody. Later, suckers!
Sounded like you just won a lot.
The black helicopters ever arrived.
Later, suckers!
You gonna play the link?
It's kind of difficult for me right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I got the link. I got it off of that. Unless y'all played it already.
No, we haven't played it. You can run it.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be good.
I have nothing else to do. Wait around him. Wait for a candidate to get a shot at it.
But this guy, Klaus Schwab, is really bold. It's because he feels like no one can touch him. This is why he feels like he can come out and say that. But no one is touching him. That has been the problem. No one's locking him up. And he's behind. I mean, there has to be cases somewhere building against him. I mean, I know, I'm pretty sure everybody's scared to touch him, but I know the high courts aren't, especially the University World Court. Court they don't even like to speak about it. So I'm pretty sure he has some form of charges internationally. But what about on a lower level? He's not a whole country. He's not a country. He's really not. So he doesn't really have power like that, especially with what he's been doing. He's in violation of so many laws, international laws on top of it. I don't know if I can label him a war criminal. I got to investigate everything, but I know he's conspired with war crimes. Yes, he's conspired, definitely. That's automatic. So I think that's the person that boggles my mind the most, that has not been being touched yet. And whenever he does finally get his punishment, then we'll know shit is amazingly changed. Trust me, that dude, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but he's a Rothschild too. So there's a reason why he's not getting touched, or he's not getting locked up, or anything that happened. He's being very protected. But man, I never thought this guy would show his face because he's so bold. Like, do you understand when people put themselves out like that? They really think nothing can ever happen. And it's also for the world to see that when he finally does get caught, it's going to be a mind-blowing thing, because people are under this impression. All these different countries that he has, that he's helping out, has people infiltrating governments, all the CEOs that he has up under them, all the different, all the corporations that he has. I think they have like thousands of corporations. I don't even know if it's like 10,000 corporations. Or is it, yeah, I know it's thousands of corporations that are under him. So, on the WEF. So I'm just waiting for it to happen. There has to be some dirt somewhere somebody has on him. He can't be that smart. So something's going on, because I've been waiting for them to take this guy down for a long time, because I'm watching all the crimes, the infiltrations. It's amazing to watch, because I'm in unbelief of how it's taking so long for them to actually get this one guy. It's crazy. So I guess because of all the support from all these corporations around the world, of course, that's probably what he's 10 times harder. And this is the reason Trump needs to get in, because I'm pretty sure he knows who the guy is and what he's doing. So let's see what happens. Does he gets in a bunch, you're gonna see a lot of people running. You know how when you turn on the lights and roaches start running everywhere, especially when there's a lot of them in a place. Oh man, and that's how the Democratic Party is gonna look at you with it. Well, they're gonna try to retaliate also, but they're gonna be running it first because they're all about to get locked up. That's what they're the most fearful. And they're not getting locked up going to jail. They're going to damn near be executed because of life of crime. So, if I was them, I'd be scared too. Probably damn near want to do anything to save my life and be free. I kind of understand where they're coming from. But it ain't gonna work. Not as far as I know. Even if it did work for a little while,
There's a few more details on the would-be assassin, Trump's would-be assassin. So he walked in the courtroom laughing. He's shackled by his hands and his feet. What do we got calling this guy? Is it Ralph? Ruth? I don't know what to call him. Call him Ralph. He's been charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. The judge says Ralph could face up to 20 years in prison and $500,000 in fines. Fox News reports that additional federal charges are possible, but the charges presented today will keep him in jail. During the hearing, Ralph told the judge he only makes about $3,000 a month. He has no assets other than 2 trucks in Hawaii. The sheriff stated that when Ralph was arrested, his demeanor was perplexing. Officers had stopped his vehicle at gunpoint, ordered him out. Despite the seriousness of the situation, his demeanor was perplexing in some way. Even though there were numerous people out with rifles, uniformed personnel, a helicopter, court documents revealed that Ralph was driving a car with stolen plates at the time of his arrest. After fleeing the scene, officers were able to pull him over and arrest him on I-95. Additionally, it was noted that Ralph's mobile phone was detected in the area from 2 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. the day before the arrest. Ralph is currently being held in the Palm Beach County Jail and is expected to appear in court for his next hearing on Monday, September 23rd. Some more stories. You got the ABC whistleblower. They testified that Kamala Harris' campaign dictated debate terms and received questions beforehand. There's a Pakistani man. He was charged in an alleged plot to kill Trump, Biden, and Haley. Pakistani man got charged. Oh, wow. Also, TDS is a dangerous mental disorder. Over. That's sad. Wait, that's what I need one of them to do. One of these far lefty Trump derangement syndrome type people is I need them to tell me, okay, if Trump wins, it's gonna be okay. There will not be a bloodbath. The country will not end as we know it. Democracy will not end in America. Like,
people act differently. I don't know if they're able to have a lot more. Ignorant people tend to have a lot more demons within them. So, yeah, because they don't have the knowledge. You know, it says they might be perish for lack of knowledge. That's what ignorance is. So, yeah, I can't bank on them not acting like assholes. You know, I would have to think. I think they don't have the actual capacity to maintain their composure. We see that already. So I don't think they'll be able to change overnight. But they're too busy plotting on his downfall to change. They have to repent before that happens. That ain't gonna happen either. We all know who they worship. Yeah, so good luck with that.
yeah, I got some body cam footage of the arrest. If y'all want to see that, I just posted that. Pretty short. exactly what you'd expect body cam footage of his arrest to look like. Not very shocking or anything.
I just can't wait till the military handles this. Because, come on, all the evidence for the first attempt. And they keep going. And they keep going. Yeah, so if Klaus Schwab said this in public, then I'm obviously, right, we have to look at that as someone who could put this on. So, again, what's happening? Maybe when he gets, gets back, maybe the military will handle it. I see that. That would be the proper thing. Because this guy's been hiding behind everything and everyone, calling the shots. Yeah, that's the head of the snake. So I would say maybe that's where we all need to be focused all the time. I wonder, has anybody ever pulled up at his house and started picketing and at least? Like, has anybody ever popped up with signs?
Is that the Schwab guy?
Yeah, like, has anybody said, let's pop up at his house with like 1,000 people in signs saying we want you out of this country, we want you off this planet, you evil
They tried to protest some of the you know how they all fly to like Geneva or whatever and have their evil lair meetings. I've seen people try to show up there and push back, and it's highly secured. It'd be like, yeah, they don't get close. They get pushed back. The security they're super tight. They got all the money.
Yeah, but something needs to happen. This is crazy. Like, where does this guy live? He has a house. Like how they pull up at the judge's house. And they should not even a judge. People should be pulling up. Yeah, doing the same thing outside. Let them know exactly how they feel. Everywhere you go, he should have to be like, oh my gosh, they're out here again. Everywhere he goes, he should never be able to walk. Just like what Augustus was saying, or make their shit something else. Yeah, make them feel some, make them understand that we're watching everything you do. Everything you do when you're on your ass. We're not doing that.
Check this out. So I just found from where's it from? Newspaper, news and then X paper. A guy named Michael Baxter reported this April 15th, 2024. A Delta Force strike team arrested 86-year-old World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab Friday after a deadly firefight that started at the fortified gate of his 7,770 square foot, 6-acre compound in Switzerland, and ended in his bedchamber, where the death-bringing geezer lay in bed hooked up to a self-dispensing adrenochrome infusion machine. A source in General Eric Smith's office told Real Raw News. And it's a pretty long article. I'm going to post his article.
Yeah, it's almost like you're reading a dream.
Right.
The dream comes true. I mean, hold on, he really got arrested?
It's fiction? What am I reading here? I figured we would.
Yeah, I thought it was like a fairy tale. No, that's not something that I expect ever happens. So that's I got
I'm trying to read the comments to see if I can find out if this is fake or what is this. I don't know. This might be a crazy part of the internet we don't usually see. I don't know what this is. Here, let me read some more of it. Seriously. Let me read some more of this. This is interesting. The overdue arrest came at White Hats formerly labeled Schwab. After White Hats formerly labeled Schwab an international war criminal based on undisclosed evidence showing that he had helped orchestrate the COVID pandemic and the Great Reset, the dismantlement of capitalism, the dissolution of private property rights, and the enslavement or eradication of all resistance globally. According to our source, White Hats had also had a grudge against Schwab after the WEF spent 32 hours discussing Disease X, a deadly emerging manufactured contagion for which COVID-19 was a practice run at January's Rebuilding Trust, the irony, conference in Davos. White Hats obtained credible intelligence suggesting that a shipment of Disease X component would arrive at the port of San Francisco aboard an Iberian-flagged freighter on February 6th. When the vessel arrived, White Hats were waiting. They raided the ship and found that hold coolers of a glassy, viscous liquid stored in beakers and flasks. Suspended in the liquid were shimmering silver flecks no larger than a piece of dandruff. The ship's crew claimed ignorance, saying that they were merely transporting engine lubricant, per the ship's manifest. A white hat chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear team seized the shipment, rushing it to Fort Leonard Wood for chemical analysis. The liquid turned out to be a soapy water, and the flecks were microfine cosmetic glitter used by women to acidulate their eyes. One cooler had a typewritten note, "Told you." The tubing, our source admitted, enraged General Smith, for it consumed time and resources, but was only reason for pursuing one of the most prolific criminals in human history. On April 5th, the general and his allies at Army Special Operations Command planned Schwab's capture. Intelligence, and we hoped it was more solid than the boat intel, since Schwab was pretty much bedridden, but protected by a massive security force. There was no sneaking in. The general had blueprints to his home fortress, and a gunfight seemed certain. In reaching Schwab before his people hustled him into a panic room, our source said. He wouldn't say how or when Delta arrived in Switzerland, or whether Swiss authorities participated in the operation, as fusillades of gunfire would certainly alert local authorities and perhaps the federal police. We knew it would be a run and gun op, and the decision was to do it this weekend, he said. I'm not going to bullet point our tech, but we can, from a distance, temporarily disable pretty much any alarm system on the planet, and his was no exception. It keeps going. What is it? How's it end? He added that President Trump was informed about the operation. The hospitalization trope is a deep state cover story. Is this real? What is it? I'm gonna read.
I mean, even if he's locked up, he needs to get out so easily. I'm sure he's out already, but that happens anytime. He always gets back out. He's like a little slippery snake.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something newer. See what this guy's up to. Yeah.
Well, you can guarantee he's up to no damn good every day.
That's right. He hates us. He wants what, 500 million people? So all the rest of y'all gotta die.
Exactly.
These people are insane.
It's funny because he would be the Hitler. He would be someone more of like a Hitler if that's the case, if they're going to keep going after Trump. It's funny because, that Marxist, everybody doesn't understand Marxism, so it's kind of weird that they use Marxist tactics, and we will sit here and see right through it because, like, that's what they do. If you're a Hitler, you're going to blame and call someone else. When technically, he's actually a Nazi. Yes. Neo-Nazi. That's as simple as that. So, and he's a Zionist. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's funny when they accuse Trump of being something that they actually subscribe to. It's really funny. It's funny. And it's working on most people. The people who are ignorant, and they actually sit there and, they hear it so much, they start thinking. It's like this, that's another Marxist tactic. People lie enough, people will do the same shit.
Well, just be anti-fascist. Fascism, one of the hallmarks is political violence. The anti-fascist group wants to get the names and addresses of people who donated to Trump. For what? For political fascist violence.
Oh, you didn't get the text? You didn't get the text that they were texting people saying, do you like Trump? They were hoping that you said yes. So they tried to put you on a list. I mean, a lot of people got this text. I watched people get it right in front of me.
Oh, that's for political intimidation, which is fascism.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling when I see people, I say, don't even answer that text. They're actually probing to see if they can go after you. Right? If you don't know that, you can get them. I mean, first you got to think of who got your number? How did they get it? And why are they texting you this? have your number to ask you such a question. That's like pretty much asking who you're voting for when that's supposed to be a private thing. You see how everything's changing?
The only recent stuff I can find on Klaus Schwab is, well, let me see, what is this from? The People's Voice. It says it was fact-checked by the People's Voice community, August 19, 2024. Klaus Schwab says era of shock events is coming ahead of the 2024 election. Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum just warned of an era of shock events is coming ahead of the 2024 U.S. election as the global elite prepare to unleash chaos in society. In a dystopian article, the WEF warns that citizens heading to the polls in November should be expecting destabilizing events, including a cyber pandemic, which is intentional, the emergence of a new global extremist group, and fast-track climate change disasters, including a sudden sea level rise that will submerge an island nation. The globalist elite are desperate for elections in 2024 to go their way as they continue attempting to evade prosecution for crimes against humanity perpetuated in the post-pandemic era. In this context, it is no surprise that the WEF is warning us to look for global risks to be further exacerbated by unexpected destabilizing shock events. What are the global elite planning? Perhaps the most concerning line in the article is in reference to an intentional cybersecurity attacks, given Klaus Schwab's long-standing interest in unleashing a devastating cyber attack on the world. This warning should not be taken lightly. Referencing the CrowdStrike global cybersecurity outage in July, the WEF said, imagine if a bad actor did this on purpose and on an even grander scale. Keeps going. I'll stop though. Goes into central bank digital currency, digital ID payments. What else? Blockchain, US dollar. Oh, trading away from the US dollar.
But you first said, I don't know if everybody caught that. They're pretty much telling you they're creating a terrorist organization that's going to do something bad. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean,
We're recruiting.
no, they're telling you that they're going to create it. And this is what I try to tell people. Like, funding all these different terrorists in different countries to go and overthrow and create coups in different countries they want to run. Right? So, they're going to create a terrorist. Who knows what the meaning is? Black Lives Matter, they create new organizations that will start problems and start chaos. So he's telling us. But you know that's one of the and see, a lot of people don't get that. Like, why would they say this? Why would they tell you this? That is one of their codes that they have to live by as they experience before they actually put out into the world. That's why they show it to you on TV, movies, they all that tells a lot about him, what his spiritual background is. Not only his philosophy, because he's actually following those rules. He's telling you that he's going to do something horrible to you. And then he does it. They have to give it to him, but he's the most bold on how he does it. That's really crazy. Because most people won't do it like that. He really feels untouchable. His ego needs to be ripped from out of him. Like, yeah.
It's the formula for all of these people. And I mean, if we were multi-millionaires, maybe we would have that some sort of inclination to, engineer society. Once you break out of normal society, now you want to kind of fix it. I guess, and that's the Klaus Schwabs of the world. And the pattern is there's a problem. We already have the solution, which is more of a technocracy, control, measuring, and all that sort of thing with the CBDC, the passports, and all that. But you notice that if there isn't a problem, they'll say, well, there will be a problem. So before the pandemic, we said there's no problem. Why do we need an international ID or a one world currency? And they would say, well, there's going to be a problem, probably. And lo and behold, there was the pandemic. And now, okay, so we made it through that, and there's no problem. No, but there will be a problem. There'll be some sort of cyber attack. So, but it's a constant emergency that brings in tyranny. And that's a very old think Von Clausewitz, a very important strategic thinker, said that tyranny advances one emergency at a time, and that's what the World Economic Forum is always telling. Some sort of emergency, some sort of crisis is here or coming, and they always have the solution.
Always trying to steal, kill, and destroy, the motto of the demons they worship.
I got a new update on this second Trump assassin. So Ron DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, is refusing to hand the shooting suspect, Ryan Ralph, over to the feds. The FBI has demanded custody of him, but DeSantis refused, saying Florida will conduct its own investigation.
Oh, didn't I say it was safer for you to stay in Florida? Didn't I say that?
Verified? So good
Well,
about
I can't. So that's the thing. So it's coming from strong sources, 3 of them. I'll post the link to this one if I can find it. Don't give these guys. Hold on. Don't give them any
I'm not
ideas.
going to say that. No, I'm not.
Don't give them any ideas. Don't tell them what comes after it's
You're
coming.
right. You're right. Yeah, no, but you know what? They're so to try that. That's why they trapped us behind, right? If it fell down here, nobody can really get to them, make up anything. They're probably waterboarding him right now.
I posted a link of Proud Elephants, but I saw like 3 different posts regarding this. Let's see if I can find a different one. And General Flynn and Eric Prince were commenting on it, saying, yeah, this is good, this needs to happen. This is a smart and positive development, is what General Flynn said about it. Maybe General Flynn posted something on this. Let's see. He said, General Flynn said, the real threat to democracy are those on the left. That's right.
I wonder what they're going to get out of him. Think about it. This guy, and if he's the asset, and if he's really CIA, then he probably knows how to do an interrogation, but I'm sure that there's got to be something coming out of him. There's no way they're going to let this slide. If they have somebody they really want right where they have, like, and you know, Florida, I mean, let's remember, I'm going to remind everyone, when you're a governor, you're like the president of your own little country. So you really don't have to let the guy out of there because he committed a crime right in here saying the laws are, they'd have to do some illegal stuff to get him out of there. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. How are they going to get their hands on this guy? Are they going to bum rush? I don't put it past them trying to do something like that. You'll see though. Because you know they don't want their assets to be, you know that's the last thing you want. They're worried right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it from a few different sources, so I think this is accurate information. There's a comment right here, I'm going to read it. Gale, fight. I hope you're right, because the FBI office in that area is the same FBI who raided Mar-a-Lago and set up phony pictures for the indictments. They cannot be trusted at all. Someone else was like, yeah, we can't have the suspect investigating themselves. We're suspecting that this is a conspiracy. We don't want to let them investigate themselves.
Yeah. Let me see if I find anything in my pocket that I can go see. And if I do, I'll show you all.
Yeah. I investigated myself. I have nothing unusual to report.
Yeah, I see nothing suspicious here. Hey, it's all really good. Everybody can go home now.
I'll return to work from my paid time off while I've been investigating my pocket.
This is what they did with the whole January 6th committee. Hey, well, we're going to investigate ourselves. Nothing was wrong. Everything looks okay, though. There was no weird thing that they wanted to say out there. Anything but they're guilty.
Dang, I hope they protect this guy. Like, I want to... This is crazy. I've never been so worried about other safety since I was in war. I hope to God they protect... I hope God protects Trump. I hope that this shooter, this assassin, Ralph guy, I hope he's protected. Because, eventually these guys break. They're they're gonna go through his bank records, his phones, his emails, his texts, social media. They're gonna know who he's been talking to. And as soon as this is tied up in a nice little bow, military tribunals.
The only problem I've seen, I don't know for sure, but the only problem I've seen is military tribunals have been going on for so long, years, it seems like since Trump got it started. But they have put so much heat on these prosecutors, these judges, that I don't really see anything happening at the moment because of that. Remember, they tried to already eliminate all of the people who call themselves technically patriots who actually believe in the Constitution from the military. They tried to purge them. They did when Biden got in. But I believe there's a whole bunch of sleepers in there that are still patriots and they need to do. But it's going to be really hard to get them to do the right thing at this moment. I think that's my assumption.
I wonder, like when Trump got convicted of the 34 counts, there was some polling that showed, and it had some, viral videos and some stuff online showing that people in the black community were like, yeah, he's one of us, and he kind of played it up. I mean, I don't know how big of a bump he got, but there were certainly some people out there saying that. I wonder if this incident, this second assassination attempt, is going to strengthen that or convince more undecideds, however few there are, that, there's something going on here. Especially if evidence comes out to show that it was somewhat orchestrated or, I would say orchestrated.
Yeah, once out. When the first time he got, what happened? Let me think back. Yeah, he got shot at. He got shot. They hit him in the ear. I was busy during that time, but anyways, the first time that happened, the first person I talked to was like, how did he put it? It was kind of cool how he put it. He said what we watched with the Biden debate was Biden publicly executed. And it was like the guy that was telling me this, he knew that Biden was done at that point. It was before Harris came into play. And then at the Trump assassination, West, they just elected that man by shooting him in the face. So now we got a second assassination attempt. And if it doesn't win some people over, I don't know, Brian. I don't know that there's anyone left to win over. I think everybody's kind of made up their mind. If they hate Trump and they want him dead, I don't think there's anything that can happen that'll pull him over. If they love Trump and want him to be president, there's nothing that's going to change them. And if you're still in the middle at this point, after 2 assassination attempts, the lawfare, I think the polls are lying. I think they're misleading, misinformation.
Yeah.
I think it's closer to 75% of Americans that are going to vote for Trump. And as long as it's not Dominion and mail-in ballots and all the weird voter fraud, I think that we're at about 75%.
Well, it does prove. I mean, what is indisputable? When the Trump campaign just released a long list of a bunch of violent rhetoric from all the, with timestamps from all the Democrats, including Joe Biden, about comparing to Hitler and all that. So we know that happened, and that has happened. And then we also know that the Secret Service is all of a sudden twice not very good at their job at protecting somebody who's, the media is using violent rhetoric against. There's no disputing that. You can have any sort of drawing connections or any sort of CIA connection you want. You don't have to. What is pure fact should be enough to change more people's minds.
I think if you look at the first attempt, it was super fishy. I mean, they hardly ever broadcast his rallies, but this one was held live, right? So there were numerous media outlets covering this one live. That's why, there were so many angles and so many different opportunities, to film all the different aspects of it, not just the people there. But this one seemed a little more covert, like it was a legitimate covert attempt to take him out. He was like, from what I've gathered, I know details are still emerging, but he was like one hole away. I don't know why he didn't wait until we got closer, but I guess what I've heard is that he didn't take a shot. The Secret Service saw him and then started shooting at him, and then he tried to run off and got captured. So this seemed like a pretty legitimate, covert attempt of what you would expect, some orchestrated event to be like.
Yeah.
But the CIA didn't do a good job. Sorry, the Secret Service just didn't do a good job. Again, they did not do a good job.
One thing, right? One thing I can say is that it's gonna help him. It's gonna help him anyways, because one thing about this country I know, people love the underground. And they know, like, if they're trying to kill him, must be, people really understand. They're like, yeah, if they he's up to something. Something's very serious that he's trying to do. So it's just they're building him up. Now, they know that that's the case, because it's just not gonna do it. But they feel that if they get eliminated, it doesn't matter, because he won't be able to get eliminated. See? So they're going to keep trying. And the only way he'll win is if they're really, 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 really in control of what's going on cyber. Because if they don't, if they're not prepared, it's going to be a real problem. They're going to use something. So I would hope, and I believe that he has what is it, Star Force? What's it called? They call Space Force. Space Force again. I'm pretty sure he still has a control in that. Yeah, right. But then you also have Elon with all these satellites. There's got to be something. Trust me, I believe I believe they have something planned to protect everything.
I think I found something here. I posted this, the bottom link. So there's someone named Soo Kim, Sookim is her last name. And on her profile it says she's ex-CIA, she works for RAND Corporation, went to Yale. This person, Soo Kim's mobile devices are linked to Department of Homeland Security leadership, DHS. And this guy, Tony Durga, so it sucks we're having to do this legwork. It'd be a lot easier if someone in the government would do it, but whatever. Tony Serga, he said, we are very, very early in our data analysis. An accurate overview is still developing, but there are a ton of messages between Ryan Ralph and this person, Soo Kim, Dr. Soo Kim. She's in policy practice. She's the area lead for LMI. It's like very well could be his CIA handler.
I mean, okay, so speculate too much, but like you heard me earlier, Wesley, and then last night, there's so many fishy holes in this story. Like it's just
the plot. Like I've heard a couple people come on and they're like, no, it's not a conspiracy. It's two lone wolves. They listened to the mainstream media. They thought Trump was a bad guy, and they tried to take him. That's it. Well, there's no evidence.
There's evidence. There's evidence that they're connected to some form of FBI or CIA.
evidence the other way. Exactly. There's no evidence to disprove that this isn't a conspiracy, a plot by some kind of deep state. There's evidence to support that. We're finding more and more. He's gonna, if he gets Epstein.
The questions are legitimate, right? So, like, in the press conference that you were reading, it was talking about just 20 minutes ago, talking about how he was stating how he was broke. All of the assets that he has are these 2 trucks in Hawaii with his business, right? Fine, whatever. I'll grant him that. Here's a question for you. If that's the case, then how did you have money to travel to Russia? How did you have money to travel to Ukraine several times? How did you have money to recruit people in Ukraine? He was so successful, that's how he got on television, being interviewed by NBC, ABC, Fox stations, too. Yeah, it's like who gave him the money to do that if he was track broke and the most he made was $36,000 a year, right? And then Wesley knows this is for new people. I put his rap sheet up here in a restaurant in 2002 for mass destruction. He's out of the country they're from, right? But when Ukraine or Russia flag that, this is your coming here, right? With that, imagine somebody who had an arrest charge of a weapon of mass destruction in Russia or Ukraine. We wouldn't let them necessarily come into our country. It's just strange. Like, sure, he was able to get out. How did he get back in? Not once, but like 4 or 5 times. And then he's openly recruiting in Ukraine. Like, our government didn't know what he was doing. You see what I mean? Like, it's just so weird. We actually train the Ukrainian government and military here in the United States. We have schools all over fucking Ukraine. We lie and say that we don't have any soldiers there, which is true. We don't, but we have spook syndromes. Like, it's loaded with spooks over there. See,
I think it really puts Trump in a bind because when he's trying to rely on these agents, these Secret Service agents, to protect him and detect these threats and, keep him safe, but yet he's unsure of who to trust. There probably are a sizable number of agents like Randy McLeod News who fully support him, and I think he's got to really be careful with who he picks for his team, but yet still, be willing to hold them accountable for the ones that might be involved in some sketchy stuff. It's really put him in a bind.
I think he'd be better off with private contracts. Yeah, and I don't believe anything else is saying, right? As director, so we're short on resources, money, staff. That's bullshit. Like, look at your budget. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they can send $1 trillion to Ukraine, but they can't go 100,000.
Right, and I may be off. It's been a long time, but if I remember correctly, like Secret Service has about 5,000 active agents. I'm like, where is the shortage? You have 5,000 agents. How hard is it to put 200 on the man? I mean, Trump, fuck us. Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of hard because they have to get agents, crooked agents who are willing to turn their back on everything that they stand for. That's why it's looking so hard. And then they have to be willing to keep their mouth shut. So it's going to be a little more.
Well, our conspiracy theory has hit mainstream media. So Jesse Waters, I don't know if y'all know him or like him or whatever. I like him. Sorry. Anyways, this is what Jesse Waters posted. And he's got a nice video of him on Fox News saying this at 4 p.m. Eastern. The second Trump assassination attempt suspect was all over the FBI's radar, the media's radar, and the State Department's radar. He was a Ukraine radical with an extensive rap sheet. He was a roofer from North Carolina, traveling to Ukraine, Hawaii, D.C., and Palm Beach. And how was he so easily able to show up at the right place at the right time? So that's good. At least they're telling normal people who are watching the news what we're thinking.
How do you know that Trump was going to be in that course?
How did somebody on $3,000 a year buy even groceries, let alone travel the world?
Yeah, this is strange thing. And then to Russell's point, how do you know specifically when he was going to be specifically at that home? He watched him tee off, right, from the first one. But then should the counter surveillance teams pick that up? You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many. You have your evidentiary team, your explosive team, your counter assault team, your sniper team. Right? All embedded communications, the whole 9 yards. It worked this time. Why didn't it work last time. You see, why do we have to rely on local police to catch the bad guy? And then they were saying that he was scoping the place out for 12 hours. Where is the preliminary like screening of the area, which you always do on site? You know, when the principal arrives, before the principal arrives, first you have a security check, like days in advance. Then you have another one, right? Where you go over, it's all written down, and it's sent to the director because there he looks at it, he does an analysis. We need more goods, we need more agents. Like, where is that? You know what I mean? Where were the people that were supposed to be posted on site at certain positions, right? And walking through the golf course too, you know, that's the counter sniper. That's their job. That's what they're trained to do. If I was a sniper, how would I shoot the person? You stand there and surveil the area. You take pictures. You see the fucking database. You know, you run object recognition, facial recognition. This is what we paid billions of dollars for. We have this shit since 2004. None of it was even none of it. You know what I mean? I mean, this shit I know, like, I've been game for years. Like, where was the technology that we spent billions of dollars for? In the last 24 years, none of it was used. It's just so odd to me. I'm like, there was no, like, that's just odd. Because that happens at every event on that level. You don't see those people, but they're out there. You know what I mean? They're out there. You know, it's like little handheld scopes, you know what I mean, in one hand, and it's digital, and it's wireless, and it's going to a fucking database in real time. They're capturing everyone's face and running their face. Object, like, where is that? Where were the drones that are supposed to be flying overhead? You know what I mean? With infrared, where you can pick up body signatures, and you can't see a body signature in a bush. It's just so weird. We can do that shit 20 years ago in Iraq and Afghanistan and find somebody in a fucking cave and in a drone 500 miles away, right up their ass, but we can't cover a fucking golf course. Does that make sense?
It's bullshit because they run harder surveillance on weed smokers. You can be in Denver, Colorado, they're going to run more surveillance on you than they will at fucking Mar-a-Lago.
But you know, also they, the link that Wesley put up, it was an article that said that, a source said that DHS was leaking the whereabouts of Trump's, the FBI, which we already know that they've been turned. So, yeah, it's another attempt on the same people that did it before failed. And that's how the people learn his whereabouts. So they're learning his whereabouts because he's being surveilled.
If you remember, I remember when Alex Jones was, when the first assassination attempt happened, he gave some little talk, you know, he was doing one of his reports. But he would say, next they're going to try and get him at Mar-a-Lago, they're going to try and assassinate him again. And it's exactly what happened. It's like, they know it's coming, and then they're, like you just said, they're just being negligent on purpose so they can have plausible deniability. Like, if you're running drone surveillance on people that you think grow weed illegally, or sell or smoke weed, but not on the president, something is wrong.
I remember during Trump's first term, I wanted to say it was late into his term, but there were some pictures of him on the golf course from the press. So somebody was close enough to get pictures, and they were hoping he would lose his temper and throw a club or something, or you know, talk about how he's overweight and all that stuff. But in other words, they were close enough, and I think it was on the Daily Beast or something like that, but that is a known, I mean, I know it's a security hole, I'm just a pedestrian. So that was a known problem. And after the first assassination attempt, we don't have to say that anybody was involved in the Secret Service or the FBI. It could be. But we know for a fact that they could have done a better job, and they, I feel like, on purpose, are just fast and loose. You know, just like the first assassination, Trump was saying that they would take breaks all the time for weather or some sort of suspicious activity, take a 5-minute break. But no, they saw somebody on the roof and went up to decision makers, and I guess the decision makers were like, "Are you sure? I don't want to be too hasty." And the guy just sat it there for like 20 minutes. So yeah, I don't think they have to have been involved directly with this kook, but maybe they were. But they sure did let him cook, just like the first shooter.
Yeah, I think it was Jay that maybe Dirk that just said that maybe all they have to do is just be negligent, conscious of negligent, just sort of pull back.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be emotional. It's just, as an American, as a patriot, it's just so disappointing. It's national security, and something like this could happen, like anywhere, Florida, anywhere. I'm just like, somebody fucked up. You know what I mean? Somebody fucked up seriously, like really badly. You need to be called before Congress, not to publicly flog me, but this is a very serious thing. And I was asking somebody the other day, I said, can you ever recall a time period ever in our history, fuck politics, where a president's been shot at twice within 2 months? I mean, like, yeah, we can't just let this, like, fly. Whether we think it's real or not, you know what I mean? Like, we have to ask these questions, because God forbid this happens again, you know what I mean? Because the world will look at us as weak. We don't want the world testing us like, oh, their Secret Service used to be super strong. They're a bunch of candy asses now, you know? We don't want that. We don't want people testing us on our own soil. And God knows the world is watching. And they really are. So it's like, this is, like, it's not good optics at all for us as a nation. It's just like super fucking weak and fucking. And I just know they're running for testing after this assassination attempt in one summer. People are biting at the, you know, chomping at the bit just to fucking test us as soon as the election's over. Because if I was a foreign nation, that's what I would be doing. I'd smell weakness in the air. Like, they're just fucking ripe. They're ripe for being attacked because they're so dysfunctional. They can't even get together and protect their own fucking president. That's why it pisses me off. I'm like, oh, what are they doing in D.C.? Like, regardless of whether you like the man or not, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you guys get it. I'm not gonna keep preaching.
No, it's crazy because our media doesn't even cover it. They just say, like, oh, this is no big deal. Let's talk about Taylor Swift or whatever. Like, this isn't even a story.
It brings too much attention to their plots. So they don't want to cover it because then everybody will be asking questions. Even the people who didn't like him might even start liking him a lot more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Wes. It's like, it's so crazy because nothing, like you just said, nothing like this has ever happened in our history. It's like, no, this is no big deal. This is fine.
Well, you know, as you guys were talking, I just thought of something that for would-be assassin, this second shooting is actually more dangerous because the first shooting was obviously cartoonish. The Secret Service, I guess, because you could say they were flat-footed because they haven't had to do anything like this for a long time. They were silly, and now because of this, they have plugged the holes, and they are going to be in tip-top shape now. Oh, but no, now we have this. So now we know that even after a failed assassination clip, we'll have 1 inch away that the Secret Service is not buttoning down. They still don't care. So this is proof. And if they didn't care the first time and try to get in shape, why would they do it the second time? They are inviting this with their negligence.
Here, give me a quick 2 minutes, y'all. So this is, I don't watch CNN or the news at all. But here's a 2-minute clip from CNN. The title of this, or where they detect star news, where they posted it says, several news outlets are finally speaking up and calling up the Democratic Party. Here goes 2 minutes. What's this guy's name that's speaking? I'll tell you if it shows up. Here it goes.
On both sides. It's coming from the right, it's coming from the left.
The rhetoric, they had tried to kill this man twice. Okay? He got shot in the ear, and this guy was setting up shop outside of a golf course to try to kill him this weekend. And I know after something like this happens, it's very fashionable to, talk about rhetoric on both sides. Donald Trump is the target. Okay? He's the current target. And it's happening, and it's happened again. And honestly, we have to have a conversation about elections. You lose an election, the country's not going to come to an end, okay? What I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not be a bloodbath. All the things they say that are totally fabricated, to me, would be a good day to stop doing that. The most important thing that could possibly happen, in my opinion, is for everybody to agree, especially Democrats, that the country is not going to be irreparably damaged if Democrats lose. The Constitution is not going to go away. Democracy is not going to come to an end. There will be no bloodbath. There will be no dictatorship on day one, which they all say all day long on this network and others. If everyone could just agree that kind of hyperbolic statement will not take place anymore, and it's not been true every time it's been said, that would be a step in the right direction. And I know everybody's talking today about all the rhetoric in this country and what are we going to do to fix it going forward. Folks, it's too late. It's too late, in my opinion, because all the rhetoric about Donald Trump over the last several years that he's a threat to democracy, that the country will come to an end if he gets elected president again. You know, even over the weekend, we had people blaming him and J.D. Vance for a bomb threat in Springfield. Well, if you had believed that over the weekend, then how can you not believe that the rhetoric leading up to today is not somehow responsible for the fact that this man has now survived 2 assassination attempts? So what I want Democrats to do, honestly, is to say, it's okay. Like, if Donald Trump wins, democracy will not end, the Constitution will not end, we're not going to live in a dictatorship, there will not...
Stop it. His name's Scott Jennings. This is live on CNN. So like I said, the media's, I mean, they're forced at this point. They're going to have to report on some of this. They can't hide this long. Good to see you, Augustus. Hope you're well, sir.
Yeah, so, yeah, good to see CNN speaking some truth for once. They've been doing good, hopefully. This is their redemption arc.
They're mad because they're losing money. They're about to do corporations and by everybody left and right to try and it's an ad right now.
You know what? What do you think about Sunday? Is when that affidavit got signed. Let me see. Sunday affidavit that showed illegal election actions were taken by the Harris campaign in collusion with ABC News. And no less than 2 hours later, this assassination attempt thing went down. I mean, I thought crazy, but it's like everybody forgot about that. They're moving on. We have a serious short-term memory problem here. We've got saturated news cycles. We've got like instantaneous gratification in a very short memory. So we are ripe for some weird.
Well, actually, we don't have the short memories. It's they that are blinded by everything that they see is false and everything. And those who know that, I think they But you know what? Let's get ready for November. Yeah, my third eye's up. You know, and I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I'm not smart enough. Whatever to call it. You know, we talk public streets, but I do. You know, see the moves that people are trying to make to cause chaos and dysfunction. Whatever. It's sad that it's happening. Possibly from within. You know what I mean? Whatever side, American. I would more actually like to hear that it's a foreigner doing this, at least I could sleep well at night, you know, than one of our own from within, because we all know how that goes in that saying, because we can't be physically outside, it's going to be dysfunction and balkanization that destroys us from within, right? So, not quite there yet, but we can say these are the beginning stages of it, but, you know, we're not at the far end of the goal line, but you don't want to get there, you know what I mean? Which is why I'm like, you gotta take this shit seriously, regardless of whether you like, you know, Trump or not. That's more of a representation of the nation, right, than us as citizens. Because I remember when Wagner rolled across, you know what I mean, back from Ukraine, and they marched to Moscow last summer. I don't know, right, how other people felt, but I'm just throwing this out there. A lot of us, I think, were shocked at, like, what happened to Russia? Look at the weakness of Russia. What happened to the old Russia, right? They would never allow that shit blasted on sight. I woke up this morning hearing people saying the same shit about our Secret Service and our government. They're like, what happened to the Secret Service of old? Aren't they trained, right, to fire on sight like Secret Service? Right, they're not trained to draw and give a warning. They're trained to draw and fire. So by the time the shit is even aimed at you, it's cocked and loaded and ready to go. They don't do warning shots. They're trained to put people down, period. Not more people. And I'm like, okay, you spotted the guy with the muzzle outside the fucking fence at 500 yards and they busted off shots. What's the rest of the story? Because they're not putting it in the news. Did you hit the guy? Did you not hit the guy? Did you shoot with a pistol? Was it a 9mm? Did you have a sniper rifle? Why did you miss? You see what I mean? Why was he allowed? He obviously missed because the guy got in his car and they called him on the road. And it wasn't even the Secret Service. I'm like, where was the counter sniper team? Right? Where were the captain? Right? So
So,
Yeah, it's still,
yeah, that's what they're there for. When you see those 7 Silverado trucks that are all tented behind the limousine, that's what they're there for. They're 812 deep, you know what I mean? With fully auto, ready to go for that. As soon as the shock breaks out, they're supposed to drive directly to it and engage. I'm like, where the fuck were they? One Secret Service agent shot off. Where were the rest of them? Like, did you
They were jacking off somewhere.
Yeah, did you shoot with a pistol? Did you shoot with a rifle? How could this, with your level of training at that range, if you were able to see his face? I'm like, what's the story doesn't make sense. So you shot him, and then you gave him enough time to run to his fucking car and drive off.
I want to do a quick.
They were doing it on purpose. It makes a lot of sense.
I want to do a quick throwback to this is Chuck Schumer talking. Here goes. 40 seconds. Here we go.
Take on the intelligence community. You have 6 ways from Sunday to get him back in. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them. And we need the intelligence community. We don't know what's going to look at the Russian hacking. Without the intelligence community, we wouldn't have discovered it.
Do you think he has an agenda to try to dismantle parts of the intelligence community? I mean, this form of taunting, hostility.
Whether you're a super liberal Democrat or a very conservative Republican, you should be against dismantling the intelligence community.
Over.
and there was no Russian hacking.
Yeah, and he knew that. He knew that when he said that.
I remember very explicitly, Hillary said 17 U.S. intelligence agencies determined that there was Russian hacking. Remember that? She said in the debate. And that's a lot, 17, so I looked it up, just quickly. What are our 17 agencies? The Department of Energy Intelligence Agency? The Department of Coast Guard? So the Department of Coast Guard Intelligence determined Russia hacked? No, it was a lie. And then Clapper was asked, did 17 agencies under oath determine he hacked? And his answer was that Russia hacked. His answer was no. About a dozen very patriotic individuals looked through it and determined that Russia hacked. And then that was not true. So that was circular. So he was saying, look out for the CIA because we need them to protect them from the lie they told us.
Hey, do you know that Barack, when he was in office, he wrote up, executive order, that all Christians, I believe even Muslims, Christians, and definitely patriots, are put on there as all terrorists. So everybody who goes and says patriots, that they're there as terrorists. So we have to know how they're doing things. So, that's the largest fact. They know they're terrorizing, and they know they're trying to overthrow the Constitution. So they're going to point the finger at you and say you're terrorists. So everybody will look at you first. And that's the type of stuff, we're not dirty men. So technically, we would call them terrorists, right? Okay. But we have things, like it's not in law. They actually put it in law in some form of policy, so to speak. So that's crazy. They actually let people believe that, hey, y'all are terrorists just because you're fighting for freedom. Now that's crazy.
Here's it's not that relevant, but it's what Trump posted 4 hours ago. This guy's still fighting. He's I'm kind of proud of him right now. All right, I'm going to read it. Here goes. Here's the Donald Trump tweet. Illegal migrants who are pouring into our country in record numbers are taking the jobs away from Black and Hispanic people who have held them for years. It is devastating for the Black and Hispanic patriots of our nation. These jobs are not replaceable and never will be, because under Comrade Kamala Harris, the border will be wide open and there will always be more people coming in. Many of them terrorists and criminals. Many than there are jobs available. Kamala is killing Black and Hispanic heritage. She is killing their legacy and their rights. Register to vote for your all-time favorite president, me. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. Make America great again.
Hey, Wesley, I know he doesn't want to say it. jobs from everybody at this point. Because the same job, a white person, or a Spanish person, or a black person, hey, everybody's looking for jobs. So I'm saying, hey, it does affect, I would say, black and Hispanic communities a lot. Same jobs from everybody. And I know he won't say it like that because he's scared towards the communities who have to be treated as a little less in the world, which is a lot less in certain circumstances. But what I'm saying is, I believe that they're taking jobs from everybody. Everybody's going to be affected by it. At this point, you got 30 million people in here. Yeah, everybody's going to be affected. Maybe they might not be able to take certain executive jobs because they don't have the actual skill set. But yeah, if they got at this point with that much people, there's no way you're not taking jobs from everybody actually out there. Yeah, I agree with that. Because somebody that I never said was years back, I was like 600 years ago. I was well for back in almost like kind of early days of citrus something. And I noticed the difference between calling and getting an American, and this time I called and I was like, what is going on? You know, the first signs of the trend, and that was 20 years ago, and I get into it. You know, but global vision goes back 80s and 90s, and you know, you're right, it's hitting everybody. So, yeah.
You know what's interesting? You guys are right about all that. You know what's interesting, Wes? I think the last tweet he put up before this assassination attempt was the checkmate tweet on Truth Social, and then the assassination attempt happened. That was the night before, I believe, he put up the checkmate tweet.
Wait, tell us about that. What was this? This was before the night before the shooting.
Yeah, and it was just a hashtag, and everybody's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the symbol for checkmate." And then there was another someone who we know from here that reposted that, so it did have some significance. Yeah.
Interesting. Welcome, let me see, Han. Yes, thank you. My question was, obviously I heard the news today about this assassination attempt, or whatever you wish to call it. What is the general consensus? People believing it as well, or is it some kind of conspiracy? I get to understand what the general feeling is.
The general feeling is suck this dick, you fucking globalist shill, you leftist punk. Go suck a dick.
They're trying to kill the president, bro. That's the general feeling. They're trying to shoot.
No toleration for the crazy left people.
I'm changing my PTR. Let's see. I got a good PTR for this. We're going.
I mean, I was thinking to myself, like, what country are you spying on? You know, spying for? And now he's all these like questions on the
Alright, PTR. This is a war between good and evil. It's older than mankind. It's older than the earth. And it's at our doorstep. This is the greatest time to be alive, gentlemen.
Yeah, sometimes people have to really, because these people are so, sometimes people wonder where does motivation come from? Why are they so weak? Why do they do these things? It has a lot to do with the entities that remain inside. And people really need to remember that. I just want to throw that out there for people to remember. If you can go out there and sacrifice children, pedophiles, whatever the hell these people are buying and selling people, yeah, you have to realize how much things they have running around in their skull. So yeah, that would probably explain a whole lot. We've never initiated ourselves into these dark forces, so why we would think like that? We actually have morals and good hearts, right? We care about people. They don't care about people.
If you know what I mean. Eagle Hawk, are think tanks, are they echo chambers? Are these government funded echo chambers? Or are think tanks something else? Can you explain what you think of think tank?
Oh yeah, so they raise money to promote certain ideologies in Washington D.C. and experts in warfare. Which is why I bugged out. I'm like, this shooter is fucking dogging somebody on a regular basis with the RAND Corporation. The RAND Corporation? Nobody works for the RAND Corporation, unless you're neck deep in fucking bodies and skulls. You know what I mean? Like, even though they may be civilian and they're blah 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 and they're all this special breed, even kind of fucker, like you pick up the front lines, you know what I mean? But they are great at negotiating and putting together policy and documents that will, how do you say, for a war or a conflict. You know? So like, we really need to go into Grenada in 1984, but the majority of the people don't want that. But here's a document from the RAND Corporation stating 1,000 reasons as to why open the American economy. Now it's moving. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's the shit that they source all the time. Yeah. Government says, well, is there an opinion beyond yours? They'll say, oh yes, well, the RAND Corporation says this, or this, think tank says this, right? But to me, I'm like, these motherfuckers are not elected. What cares what they think? Do you know what I mean? There's other experts too. Isn't that the job of paying people to be experts in the government? Why are you going and listening to these people, right? Most of them work for the weapons industry. You see what I mean? McDonald, Douglas, so all that shit is here in DC. And they're all friends, they'll jump from one thing to a weapons industry, not to a think tank. It's all the same shit. To a pharmaceutical company, then over to the FDA, then back. Oh yeah, there's a think tank just for the pharmaceutical companies here, and all they do is they promote GMO and putting, the mRNA into food and lettuce. They're the ones who put the documents out. They fucking tell us how to eat, how to eat, our dietary supplements, and all this other bullshit. But you're not even elected. Fuck off. Like, why do we care? Why do we they threatened his life, they put him in court, he got locked up. There's so much he went through, him and his wife, because she actually put a bread on the counter on the shelves that would actually make him lose weight. They put it on the shelves, of course, because it was healthy and making him lose weight. But either way, the fact is, he broke down certain things about how they would take a hiatus. So, well, you have people with pharmaceutical companies, they take a hiatus from their company, and they would go over and take a position at the FDA, which will in turn be able to help them, grease palms and get in the right areas and help make sure things are approved, even though they're not healthy and they're dangerous for people. And this has been going on for years, so that was one of the reasons why they wanted him dead. They threatened him, they locked him up, they did all kinds of stuff. He ended up beating him in court because he had too much evidence because of him being the head of the FDA. He whistleblower. That was very important to know, so we can know that they do bounce back and forth from agency to agency, corporation to corporation, and lobby, so to speak, and take bribes, they give bribes. So this is kind of